Dan Bongino, you have such an interesting past, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. First of all, what don't we know? What secrets can you tell us about the real man, Barack Obama? Because most of us, especially us here at CPAC, we're never going to have the up-close and personal contact with him you've had. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was interesting going from the Bush administration to the Obama administration. You know, the whole world changed overnight. And
Because you were in the Secret Service.
Right, I was in the Secret Service on the Presidential Protection Division, but literally one night you're standing there and President Bush walks out of the bedroom door, and then the next night it was President Obama, so our job didn't change at all. Obviously, even in the book I wrote about it, you have to be very careful about what you say and don't say. You don't want to violate that trust they have, or else it'll hurt the protection environment. But hey, the politics is fair game. I always say, if you see it on Fox or CNN or MSNBC, it's fair game. And I think it is amateur hour at the White House, and I think you're seeing it right now. Ukraine, Obamacare, you name it.
And so how does that inform what you do today?
Well, one, my politics, it's, you can have bad leadership, but it's leadership. And then you can have no leadership at all. And that's the problem right now. Like, I'll give you an example. I started under the Clinton administration with the Secret Service in 1999. I didn't spend a significant amount of time there, but I spent some time with Mrs. Clinton on her Senate run. Now, I disagreed fervently with a lot of their political policies, but at least at some point he stuck by them. He was the one who gave the speech, the era of big government is over. That was Bill Clinton. Now, a lot of his decisions were poor ones. We can disagree. The president doesn't stand for anything, President Obama. He had a red line in Syria. And keep in mind, I'm a liberty-minded libertarian, so I'm not saying whether I disagree or agree, but he doesn't stand by anything he says. His word has become almost meaningless. And I think you're seeing the after effects of that now with President Putin in the Ukraine, who's just openly mocking and it doesn't give me any joy to say that. He's still our president, and the Russian leader is just right now openly mocking him.
You mentioned leadership. I think it's interesting to focus on that for just a moment. And you had to have pretty good insight into President Bush. President Bush, good leader?
Yes, and in some respects. I think, politically speaking, some of his domestic economic decisions were poor. I didn't agree with some of his foreign policy either. I didn't agree with the war in Iraq. I didn't agree with the prolonged maintenance of the operation in Afghanistan. I thought we could wrap that up a lot sooner as well. But again, he was a guy who had his positions. He staked them out, and it allowed you as a voter to agree or disagree. Let's put a foil on that with President Obama. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. It was a lie, clearly. I mean, you call it whatever you want. It was not the truth. We call that a clue, and then the clue says that's a lie, okay? I'm going to, cut middle-class taxes. He did nothing of the sort. Same thing about all this talk about education and the minority community. The minority community has been devastated under President Obama. So the point is, you don't know where you stand because very little of what he says politically has any substance at all.
But Bill Clinton also lied. And do you consider him a stronger leader than Barack Obama?
Well, that's really a rough barometer for success. Listen, I'm talking about the absence of value, like zero leadership at all under President Obama. So anyone who shows even a modicum of leadership, it's a tough question to answer. Was he a great leader, Bill Clinton? No, I certainly disagree with most of his policies, but at least on a lot of his issues, again, you understood what you were voting against when you were a Republican, conservative, or libertarian. There are some confused Republicans out there who voted for President Obama, and they thought, oh, yeah, he cut taxes. We can keep our plans. He's just deceived the American people on a lot of these issues. So that, to me, is not bad leadership. It's no leadership at all.
And do we need another Bush in the White House?
I think it's about time to kind of move on. I don't like to judge people by their last name. You never know. There may be, someone out there. But I'm an outsider to the process, always have been. I think these legacies are not really a good thing sometimes. I'm not saying anyone in the Bush family feels this way, but sometimes they lead on both sides of senses of entitlement. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton. The Democratic primary is not even close. It's almost a year away, and all of a sudden she's the anointed one. I mean, come on, folks. Seriously?
Yeah. And so you've made some interesting decisions. How many people from the Secret Service, how many former Secret Service agents have ever taken this step you're getting ready to take?
Well, federally, none, just me. But the lieutenant governor, a little known fact of, lieutenant governor of Oklahoma? Yeah, Todd Lamb was a former Secret Service agent. And there was a guy, I forget his name right now, but he's running, he won a House of Delegates seat, I think, in South Carolina, or their assembly, whatever they're called, and their representative. But federally, I'm the first one. So I know I'm the first Secret Service agent to win a federal primary when I won the U.S. Senate nomination. Kind of a change of pace. Yeah. First the guy in front of the podium, then the guy behind the podium. Interesting, huh?
And so it's going well. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's going really well. And, we talked kind of offline here, and Everybody says that our race is going really well, but we have real good markers. Like our volunteers, we take pictures at our volunteer meetings because they're just packed. I mean, we can't even, we expected 50 people. We had 75 at our last meeting in just a small town. We're out fundraising our opponent, and the grassroots support, the media attention, everything has just been terrific. So I'm optimistic, but I'm pretty much optimistic about everything. I'm always kind of smiling about something, probably my downfall at some point. So
tell us where we can find out more information.
Bongino, Bongino.com, and you can give me a follow on Twitter at DBongino or Facebook, Dan Bongino.
Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.